Hello everyone, Oh the Indignity here. Now a couple months back, I was looking at my old layout and I really wasn't satisfied with it anymore. It looked awful, it was really showing its age. I was flip-flopping between whether I wanted it to be more urban or rural. The track was terrible, it really just didn't work. So I decided I would make a new one. Now, planning this was very simple. I had this rough sketch a couple months back, so you can see that I wanted a quarry, a worker's hut, an old road, a passing loop, a train station, and a thick forest in the middle. And that was about it. Now, the track that I used for my old layout was Bachmann Easy Track. I got it because it was cheap and accessible, but that track was very shit, to say the least. My engines kept derailing on it. The fish plates were awful, and they were too tight. That's something I noticed. They were too tight, and every time I separated them, it was like really difficult, and they got bent very easily. My engines couldn't run smoothly on it. They couldn't run slowly on it either, or else the power would just cut out. Not to mention those wretched points. I mean, 9 times out of 10, my engines derail on them. So I told my good buddy Max that I was planning a new layout, and they recommended that I used some Kato Unitrack, which is what they use for their layout. It was a little bit expensive, but you know what's more expensive? Keep having to rip out that terrible old wretched Bachmann track and replacing it. I spent so much money on that, it's actually not even funny. Anyway, I got the Kato Unitrack. Huge thanks to Max. They really helped me with this layout. So now, let's get into the actual layout building now. Hey guys, this is the current state of the layout, if you can even call it that anymore, okay? And, so, you could easily fix it. You could just put trees back in their place, glue them on, tidy up the scrap car, maybe give it a little vacuum or dusting or whatever you want to do, and it'll be fine. But no, that is far from the truth, because for the past 2 years now, I've been using this Bachmann Easy Track, and this is a Bachmann Peter Sam, okay? Made by the same company who makes this track. And this is how he runs on the track. I'm going to turn on the transformer, and he won't even really start without me touching him. So, you can see he's jolting, and then he stopped, okay? And Peter Sam is one of the ones that runs better on this track. Wait till you take a look at Rusty. Oh, Rusty. Yeah, that's just awful. Yeah, like, this track is awful. So, after months and months and hundreds of dollars maintaining and replacing this track, I've decided to finally bite the bullet and stop wasting money and get something actually high quality. And that is this. Some Kato track, some Kato Unitrack. I've asked people what kind of N-scale track they use, what track they use for 009 layouts. Almost everyone said that they use Kato Unitrack, and they said that this is the best track to use for this. So I spent a good chunk of money buying this, but it's still less than keep having to maintain this, ripping it out, replacing it with new track every couple of months, which is just sad. So I'm thrilled to say that this Bachmann track is gonna go, and I can start using some actually high quality stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, I've gotten some layout supplies. I have a new layout planned, and that is this video. The layout name is Chwareltop Gwastad, which roughly translates to flat top quarry in Welsh. This is the map of the layout, so you can see there's a little quarry, a station, a forest. It's going to look very good, but I'm going to try to salvage as many things from the old layout as I can to put on the new layout. I think I'm going to do the scrap car, some trees maybe, that station obviously, and the board beneath the grass, which the grass has lost a lot of its color and is very deteriorating. So without further ado, let's do it with a time lapse. These trees are super glued down, but when you pull them out, you can really see the bottoms of them are still smooth. And they should most definitely be reusable, because each pack of trees is about 20 bucks, and I need a lot of trees for this. So yes, I did get 2 other containers, and they come with winter trees, which I'm not going to be using, but I have a plan for that later. But they come with winter trees, so it's going to cut down the quantity a little bit, but this is 40 bucks right here. Plus this, that's $60, which is as much as about one of these. So you can really see, this is not a cheap everyday project. This is like a big investment right here. So shout outs to my grandma for helping me kind of afford this, you know? So I'm ripping out some of these trees. Some of the trees come out without the bases. You kind of have to pry them off like that. You kind of got to fight for them. But either way, the bottoms of them are still very smooth. So that's good to know that they'll be reusable. Well, this kind of sucks. Turns out I got the wrong expansion pack. I got K2 instead of what I needed was V1, so I could get a passing loop. Okay. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But what can you do? I also got a wrong switch. That's nice. I need to get one that goes over here. So yeah, that's. Couple weeks later, I got the right track pack and added it. The passing loop looks a little bit odd, I know, but you know, it's very natural looking. Train tracks in real life are not all straight, and they don't have all the same radius of curves. They're all very unique. Then I cleaned the mess. Sometimes I think I'm an idiot because I looked all over just to discover that it connects like this. That's it. Holy crap, I'm an idiot. How have I lived this long? Then I wired everything up, if you couldn't tell from the previous clip. Rusty will be the first engine testing my new Kato Unitrack, so let's see. Okay. Okay, he's unhealthy. Will my light stop shaking? Okay, then Peter Sam, why don't we try you instead? That is so smooth. Oh my god. Well, it works, but Peter Sam is a bit shit. Please stop shaking. Well, it works, but Peter Sam is a bit shit, so I'm gonna clean his wheels. Get a little bit of a clean cotton buds. Tip it in there. Wipe off the excess. And what I'm going to do. Jeez, I need to back up a little bit. I'm gonna put this battery right here. So, it can... This 9-volt battery, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna power his wheels so they can move to make it a bit easier. I've now cleaned his back wheels, and he should be good to go. Alright, moment of truth. Does he run well now? I'm gonna just give him a bit of a tap. Okay. Of course. Oh, fucking... No, that's my fault. That wasn't connected properly. Okay, good news. He does run well. Jesus, he just crashed into... Okay, so he does run. Very nice. Final attempt. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna kill myself. Thank God. Goes on the squiggly bit just fine. Ignore the mess. Ignore the mess. I've yet to clean that up. I don't know why he keeps shorting on that switch. Look, like whenever I click reset. I wonder what's up with that. Is it like the wrong direction? Yeah, he keeps stopping there. I don't know what that means. No idea. I think the problem was it was in the wrong direction. Let's find out. Thank God. Thank God that was the problem. I'm gonna test out the passing loop now. Let's see. Alright, we can't run him that fast. Okay, he cut out. That was too slow. We need to find a nice middle ground. Never mind, he came back on without even... Interesting. I must have put a joiner on wrong. I put it on off camera, but as suspected, right here, it did not look good. Hopefully it should work now. Jesus Christ, this is a lot of trouble in there. Trial and error. Jesus. Let's see. Will he actually work this time? The squiggly little bit to make it realistic. Thank God. This is an appropriate speed, too. I like this speed. We'll remember that it's right there. Right there. Nothing more, nothing less. I think that he was keep derailing here, actually, because this is such a sharp turn, and the transition from it going to such a sharp turn to a perfectly straight area almost might not be good for him. But he seems to work over here fine, and that's the same thing, so I don't know. Then I added the station down, and something I really like is this little station platform thing. I don't know if it's just supposed to be a re-railer or anything, but it has these little slope bits that you can add to it, which I really appreciate. I was done with fitting the track, but the layout looked a bit naked. Now it's time for scenery. The first thing I added was trees, and it wasn't enough. So then I got 2 more containers, and it still wasn't enough. But at this point, I was practically broke and didn't want to spend what little money I had left on trees for damn sake. Next up came creating the quarry, which was just cutting pieces off of a giant foam sheet. You can see right here I'm testing how big I want it to be. I added this little hole at the bottom for the track to go in, sort of like it's so old and eroded that rocks from the quarry have kind of buried the track over the years. Then you just stack some more layers of foam on top and then trim it till it actually looks very natural. I filled in the gaps with some tiling grout. I wanted to stick some more dried out tiling grout on it. So what I did is I mixed some wood glue and water and I just coated the whole thing in it, just completely drenched it, and sprinkled little pieces of dried out tiling grout. In retrospect, I could have just used gravel or rocks, but you know, we're here. And to be honest, it actually turned out really good. Oh yeah, always remember, clean up your messes when you're done. After it dried, I painted it this nice dark gray color. Then I gave it a thick black wash, and then I washed off the black wash. That doesn't sound right. But yeah, I washed it off so it would only stick in some areas. Then I gave it a little bit of a dry brush of white to bring out the highlights in some places. And then the quarry was done, and it looks absolutely spectacular. I don't know how I made it look that good. It actually looks like a real stone, which is crazy, but you know, it's very impressive. That's the point. Making the old road was about as simple as you can get. All you have to do is paint a piece of coarse grit sandpaper, I think it's called, with some gray paint, and then cut it to size, and yeah, there you have a gravel road. It's literally as simple as that. Then I added this old truck I had laying around for a bit of visual essence. Visual essence, is that a term, or am I just being a dumbass? I don't know. I couldn't really find a better worker's hut, so I just painted a block for the time being and added these crates on either side of it with some pieces of junk in front of one of the crates. Just so, you know, the people working at the quarry can go to the bathroom, have a lunch break, talk smack. And yeah, then the layout was done. other than the trees. I still need to get to that. But, I think it's time that we do a little bit of a running session. I never say, I think it's time for the running footage. Thank you all for watching if you've made it this far, and Joe the Indignity signing off.